Hey guys, what's going on? In this video today, we're going to be talking about analyzing the data, how to increase and decrease bids, and when to increase and decrease bids. All right. So we talked in the last video about different important key performance indicators. So I'm going to kind of brief over those and talk a little bit about those. Okay. So in this column here, looking at impressions, right? This is telling me how many impressions I've got. Okay, and whatever amount of time I have here, whatever date you guys put here, right? So then here is the clicks and the cost, and then this is the cost divided by all conversions is the cost per purchase, and then the conversion rate, and then the average cost per click it's costing me, and then we have the benchmark CPC, which is basically the max somebody's bidding for these specific products or keywords. And then we have search impression share, which is telling me how much actually showing up for the different keywords and products. Okay, and then we have the click-through rate, conversions, conversion value, and then how many times we lost and didn't show up due to poor ad placement. And then we have the conversion value divided by cost, which is the ROAS. Okay, so here, what I'm looking for when I'm first starting out my ads, the first thing I want to know is my impressions. Am I getting impressions? If you notice that your impressions are very low, you're not getting much impressions, then you want to increase your bid, okay? Increase your bid by 10 to 20%, and then you want to wait. Okay, see if you're getting more impressions. If you're still not getting impressions, then again, you want to increase your bid by 10 to 20% until you start getting impressions. All right. Now, you know, if you're just getting like 30 impressions a day or something like that, then obviously, that's most likely a bid issue. And you could also wait and see until the data shows up here, because like it takes time for the data to show up on Google. So the benchmark CPC, like it'll take a while, like maybe 2 to 3 days to show up and tell you, what the benchmark CPC was for the last 2 days. So if you notice that you are very, very below the benchmark max CPC, then you might want to, and you're still getting low impressions, then you might want to increase your bid also, 10 to 20%. Now, once you have increased your bid to a good amount where you're getting impressions, getting clicks and getting all that stuff, then you obviously want to look at, your cost per purchase, your ROAS, and if you've taken the other parts of, my course and not just the Google section, then you know how to obviously calculate your break-even ROAS, and you know how to calculate your target cost per purchase. Okay. Now, if you don't know how to do that, then I'm going to explain it. All right. All right. So we stated that cost divided by all conversions equals your cost per purchase, right? Now, your break-even cost per purchase is your profit per sale. So say, for example, you're selling a product for $30. The product costs you $10, then your profit is $20. So your break-even point is $20. So your target cost per purchase, you want below $20 for profitability. Okay, you want to ideally be making $5 or more per sale. All right. So ideally, your target cost per purchase would be anything $15 or below. Now, your conversion value divided by cost, we said, was your ROAS, right? Your return on ad spend. Now, to calculate your break-even ROAS, you take your selling price divided by your profit. So you would take $30, which is your selling price, divided by $20, which is your profit per sale, which equals 1.5x, which 1.5x represent your break-even ROAS, okay? So let me explain now here when we're looking at the data. Now, here this is telling me that it's costing me $6.58 overall, but this product here is costing me $6.34 per purchase, $7.19, $8.74 per purchase, right? So if I'm going off the example that I gave you, that my profit point was 20, this would tell me that I'm very profitable, right? So this would tell me I'm very profitable. Now, you always also want to look at your ROAS, okay? Now, if your ROAS is 1.5x, this is telling me also that this is all profitable. Now, if you have a product here that, you know, has a high cost per purchase, but a ROAS that's profitable, right? So say, for example, we had a cost per purchase of $22, which tells us we're losing $2 per sale, but the ROAS is telling us 3, which is basically telling us that people are buying in higher average order values, right? They're buying a higher return on ad spend. So instead of buying one product for $30, maybe they're buying 3 products for $30. So your return on ad spend is higher. And since it's above the break-even point of 1.5x, it tells us that we are profitable, okay? So those are things you definitely want to look at when you're analyzing your data. Another one is your search impression share, okay? Now, if your search impression share is really low, that means you're not showing up on the Google Shopping ads, okay? Which coincides with a low bid. So if you have a search impression share, you want to make sure that it's, you know, it's enough where you're getting enough impressions. And it's very dependent also on different products, how much, you know, how many search terms a month your keywords are getting, you know, and so on and so forth. But ideally, you know, you want 50% or higher on your search terms, but you also don't want to look at just one piece of data, right? You want to look at the whole picture, okay? As long as, you know, you're getting a good amount of impressions, your cost per purchase is profitable, your ROAS is profitable, then that's all that really matters, okay? Because you could have a low click-through rate, but still, you know, be converting in high amounts, and your conversion rate is high, which would increase your, you know, ROAS and also decrease your cost per purchase, which would make you profitable. Now, ideally, we want to have a click-through rate of 1% or more, but there are instances, as you can see here on even my ad account, you know, on this specific product, I have a 0.6% CTR, but look at my ROAS and look at my cost per purchase, right? So we want to look at things as a whole, you know, as a whole picture. We don't want to just look at one piece of data and make a decision, okay? Look at everything as a whole. If your ROAS is good, you know, you have a good cost per purchase, you know, your search impression share isn't like super low, like, you know, 20%, that means, you know, you're good. Like, you are profitable, so you're doing everything correctly. And if it shows that your search impression share is super low, that means maybe it's most likely you're getting a very low amount of conversions because you're not showing up enough. So maybe that's an indicator to increase your bid, okay? You're still getting conversions, you're converting, you're profitable, but just not enough conversions. Maybe you need to increase your bid, okay? Because this column here will tell you, you know, if you have low conversions, most likely this percentage will be really low, even though if you're profitable, which would indicate that you should increase your bid so you could start showing up more and getting more conversions and sales, okay? And, you know, that's pretty much how you want to analyze the data. So we want to increase our bids when we're not getting enough impressions, when our search impression share is very low, and we're not getting enough conversions, okay? We want to decrease our bids when, you know, we have the opposite effect, basically. So basically, you know, we have super, you know, high cost per purchase, potentially, and also, you know, we have a low ROAS, that could, and then a high cost. That could mean that you're bidding too much. And Google's quite funny, actually. A lot of products that I've, you know, tested on Google and sold on Google, you'll be surprised. Sometimes a lot of products, the lower you bid, the better. Because I've noticed with Google that when you bid very, very high, you know, especially on your beta campaign, it shows your product to really shitty traffic, and you won't get as many conversions, or your cost per purchase would be very high. That's why I tell you guys to increase your bids very slowly, so you can see and analyze and see where everything's at depending on where your bid is at. Okay, so that's super, super important. Increase your bids slowly. Okay, same with when you decrease your bids, right? If you notice you have bids that are too high based on your, you know, cost and your conversions, your cost per purchase, and your ROAS, decrease them slowly as well, you know, because you want to just get to the exact right bid where you can optimize and scale. All right, so that's what you want to do. Now from here, you know, once you have this, you know, like optimize your bidding enough, you're getting conversions, you know, impressions are good, everything is good, then you also want to go into your search terms, as we talked about in the previous lesson, and see which keywords are converting, right? Which keywords have between 50 to 70 clicks and at least 2 conversions, and obviously are profitable based on these different metrics that we discussed, so the cost per purchase and the ROAS. You want to move them into the next tier of campaign, right? So you would make them a negative keyword, and then you would move them into the alpha 1. So now you're bidding higher, right? Now you would want to make sure, obviously, if on this product here you're bidding 54 cents, in the alpha 1 campaign, you want to make sure you're bidding, you know, 64 cents, 70 cents, between 10 to 15 cents higher on the keyword. And then you're going to analyze your campaign in the same exact way that you would analyze this beta campaign that I'm looking at. You will look at all the same KPI metrics that I have discussed and make decisions whether to increase or decrease the bid, okay? Sometimes you may have to move keywords back down to the beta, which you would just remove them as a negative keyword, because sometimes some keywords perform better at a lower bids and some keywords perform at a higher bid, okay? So it's just testing. That's how you test, you know, it's plug and play with Google. But once you have the right bids and everything is good, it's literally automated, okay? You probably have to check your ads maybe once a week. I've gone honestly a month before without checking my ads, and just having consistent sales throughout, okay? So that's what you want to do, okay? So step 1, come in, analyze your ads based on the KPIs. Once everything is good to go, you know, you have your good impressions, good cost per purchase, good ROAS, good conversion rate, everything looks good. You want to start moving keywords, see which ones the best ones are, so you can move them into the alpha 1 and start, you know, bidding higher on those keywords and getting even more conversions and more profitability. And then you would do the same thing for the alpha 2, right? Or with the alpha 1, like you would move alpha 1 keywords into alpha 2. To be honest, with the alpha, once you move the keywords into the alpha 1 campaign, usually they're pretty good there with the bids, you know, bidding 10 to 15 cents or 20 cents more for that keyword than you would in the beta campaign. Sometimes if you start bidding higher, like I said, like you'll move it to alpha 2 once it's in alpha 1, it'll perform shittier, you know, so then you would move it back to alpha 1. So these are things that you want to keep track of, you know. Once you're first optimizing your campaigns, you're going to be moving things around, you know, you're going to move keywords, you might move them back down based on their performance. Now you want to wait 7 days when you're moving things, right? Google usually takes 7 days to optimize, so you don't want to make changes. Once you make changes, any change within your campaigns, you want to wait 7 days to make any other changes to make sure you give Google enough quality time to optimize and figure things out. All right. So that's pretty much it for this video, guys. That's how you increase and decrease bids, and I'll see you in the next one.